वेलकम फ्रेंड्स फॉर यूजीसी नेट इन कॉमर्स सब्जेक्ट। जो जून 2022 का पेपर है, आज हम उसका डिटेल्ड सॉल्यूशन करेंगे। सो विल सोल्व एवरी क्वेश्चन, जितने भी 1 to 100 जो भी सवाल आए हैं कॉमर्स के पेपर में, एक एक करके विल डू द डिटेल्ड सॉल्यूशन फॉर एवरी क्वेश्चन। सो जो जून 2022 का पेपर है, सो विच वाज फॉर अ मर्ज साइकिल बिटवीन दिसंबर 21 और जून 22 का जो पेपर है, दैट वाज कंडक्टेड ऑन 29th ऑफ सितंबर। सो इसका जो मॉर्निंग शिफ्ट का पेपर था, सो टुडे विल एनालाइज दैट। नॉट ओनली एनालिसिस, विल आल्सो गो थ्रू एवरी क्वेश्चन कि किसका क्या सॉल्यूशन और कैसे हम लोगों को करना चाहिए था। So guys, before I start, I want to share with you two things. Number one, धीरे धीरे यूजीसी नेट जिस तरह अपने आप को बदलता जा रहा है, रादर एनटीए, द वे एनटीए इज कंडक्टिंग एग्जाम, तो हमें एक बात काफी स्ट्रांगली निकल के बाहर ये आ रही है कि अब पेपर काफी कॉन्सेप्चुअल होता जा रहा है। कॉन्सेप्चुअल का मतलब क्या है कि यूजीसी नेट टिल कपल ऑफ इयर्स बैक, जब तक यूजीसी कराता था या सीबीएसई कराता था, सो इट वाज जस्ट कीवर्ड बेस्ड एग्जाम। आप पेपर के लिए कुछ कीवर्ड याद करो मेन मेन, और उससे आपका एग्जाम निकल जाता था। ठीक है, लेकिन अब ऐसा नहीं है। नाउ एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन होते हैं, मोर देन वन करेक्ट वाला फॉर्मेट के काफी सवाल होते हैं, और न्यूमेरिकल भी आते हैं। सो नाउ इट्स मोर ऑन द कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी रादर देन कि हमने कुछ कीवर्ड बेस्ड वो याद कर लिया है। एंड दिस इज द रीजन पिछले कुछ एग्जाम से कट ऑफ भी अब नीचे चला गया, बिकॉज डिफिकल्टी लेवल इज गोइंग अप। पहले कॉमर्स का जेआरएफ का कट ऑफ 65 से ऊपर भी चला जाता था, अब हार्डली 60 भी जाता है, उसे कमी रहता है। सो गाइस, व्हाट डू वी लर्न फ्रॉम दिस? बिफोर आई स्टार्ट दैट, अब अगर ऊपर ऊपर से तैयारी करेंगे, अगर ये सब कोशिश करेंगे, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें कर लेते हैं, या 100% सिलेबस नहीं करेंगे, तो अब फिर काफी समय लगेगा एग्जाम निकालने में भी। 2 अटेम्प्ट, 3 अटेम्प्ट, 5 अटेम्प्ट, और आपका काफी सारा समय खराब हो जाएगा। अगर आप चाहते हो मैं पहली बार में ही निकाल दूं, अच्छे से निकाल दूं, जेआरएफ निकाल दूं, सो द बेस्ट थिंग विच वी कैन एडवाइज इज दैट आपको पूरा सिलेबस करना है, अच्छे से करना है, कॉन्सेप्चुअली उसको सीखना है। डू नॉट ट्राई टू फाइंड एनी शॉर्टकट. Second thing, guys, if you want to understand how you guys can prepare with Human Peritus. Second thing, guys, if you want to prepare for UGC NET in commerce subject, so how you guys can prepare with us? So for that, you can go to website of Human Peritus. और एक बार अगर आप ह्यूमन पेरिटस की वेबसाइट पे आते हैं, सो ऑन द होम पेज ओनली देयर इज अ लिंक फॉर कॉमर्स कोड 08 सब्जेक्ट. क्लिक ऑन दैट लिंक एंड इट विल टेक यू टू आवर पेज फॉर यूजीसी नेट इन कॉमर्स, जहां हम लोगों ने अच्छे समझाया थ्रू दिस वीडियो कि कैसे कैसे आप हमारे साथ तैयारी करोगे, क्या क्या हम आपको देंगे, हाउ डू वी टीच, द एंटायर प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रेटजी, हमारा प्लान क्या है, हाउ यू गाइस विल प्रिपेयर विद अस. तो आप एक बार इस पेज को अच्छे से गो थ्रू दिस एंड यू विल अंडरस्टैंड हाउ यू कैन प्रिपेयर. आल्सो अनदर थिंग गाइज, इस पे कुछ लोगों के इंटरव्यूज भी हैं, एंड यू शुड गो थ्रू देम जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि इन लोगों ने कैसे किया, हाउ दोज गाइज हैव डन इट. सो दे हैव रियली इंटरेस्टिंग इनसाइट्स कि बाकी लोगों ने जो अब तक नेट निकाला है, हाउ दोज गाइज हैव डन इट. सो विद दैट नोट लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड, और हम अब एक एक करके जो अपना पेपर है उसका हम लोग सॉल्यूशन शुरू करते हैं. So this is the first question. It says, which one of the following distribution aptly describe the ownership of income and property in a capitalist economy? And the answer is Pareto distribution. क्यों? क्योंकि Pareto principle क्या बोलता है? That in everything 80% of values are attributed to 20% of causes. So यहाँ इसका क्या सेंस बनता है इस वाले में कि in this world 80% of wealth and assets are owned by 20% of guys, which typically happens in a capitalistic economy. That is why the answer is fourth Pareto principle. Next one. So guys, this is from the topic of break-even analysis. हम लोगों को क्या दिया है? So this is the sales. 20 rupees, variable cost 11 रुपया और 3 रुपया, so variable cost becomes my 14 rupees. Then there are two fixed costs, so together they becomes 792,000, and this is my sale, which is ₹20 सेल प्राइस पर यूनिट। अब पूछा क्या है पीवी रेशो। सो गाइज व्हाट इज पीवी रेशो? पीवी रेशो इज नथिंग बट कंट्रीब्यूशन ओवर सेल। ठीक है, अब कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या होता है? कंट्रीब्यूशन इज सेल माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट। सो 20 माइनस 14 डिवाइड बाय 20 into 100 will give us answer which will be 3. Next one, which one of the following is the break even point in the units of economy? So guys, break even point हम लोग कैसे निकालते हैं? So we find out total fixed cost. So यहां से मिला के total fixed cost कितना आया? 7,92,000। ठीक है, एंड वी डिवाइड इट बाय आवर कंट्रीब्यूशन, सो विच इज 20 माइनस 14, इन दोनों को मिला के 14, दिस इज 20, एंड दिस कम्स आउट टू बी 1,32,000, एंड करेक्ट आंसर इज 1. नेक्स्ट वन, विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज द ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट, बट अब की बार पूछा है इन फॉर्म ऑफ रुपीज। तो हमने प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन में कितना था? 1,32,000 यूनिट्स आया। ठीक है, अब अगर हमने यूनिट निकाल ही लिया है तो 1,32,000 यूनिट है, और एक से हमें कितना पैसा मिलेगा? 20 रुपीज। सो वी मल्टीप्लाई दिस बाय 20 एंड व्हाट वी गेट इज 26,40,000 रुपीज। करेक्ट आंसर इज 2. नेक्स्ट वन, which one of the following is the desired sales volume in term to earn a profit of 60,000? अगर 60,000 हमें प्रॉफिट कमाना है, इसका मतलब एक तो फिक्स कॉस्ट हमें करना है कवर विच इज 7,92,000 प्लस 60 के हमें पैसा और चाहिए जो कि हमारा प्रॉफिट है, and we'll divide again by contribution which is 20 minus 14 and you'll get your answer to be 142,000. So correct answer is 4th. Next one, which one of the following is the desired sales to earn a profit of 1,20,000? Again guys, same approach. 792 तो हमें फिक्स कॉस्ट कवर करना है, प्लस हमें 120K का हमें प्रॉफिट भी चाहिए। ठीक है, 1,20,000 का हमें प्रॉफिट भी चाहिए। सो वी डिवाइड इट बाय कंट्रीब्यूशन 20 माइनस 14, सो दिस विल गिव द वैल्यू बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूनिट्स। हमें किस में चाहिए? सेल में चाहिए। So we can multiply this by 20 and answer will come out to be 30,40,000, which is our second answer. Next one, arrange the following ratios in increasing order of significance in the prediction of industrial sickness. So this is from topic of corporate distress. So the formula which is given by Altman was Z is equal to 1.2x1 plus 1.4x2 plus 3.3x3 plus 0.6x4 plus 1.0x5. ठीक है, where x1 क्या है? Where my x1 is working capital over total asset. What is x2? x2 is retained earning divide by total asset. ठीक है, what is x3? x3 is EBIT over total asset. What is x4? x4 is market value of equity divided by book value of debt. What is x5? x5 is again sale divided by total assets. हमें बताना है कि किसका ज्यादा सिग्निफिकेंस है, किसका कम है इन द इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर। सो गाइस, सबसे इसमें छोटा कौन सा है? सबसे छोटा है इसमें 0.6। सो 1, 0.6 से बड़ा 2, एंड देन उससे बड़ा 3, एंड देन 4, एंड देन 5। सो गाइस, दिस इज द ऑर्डर। सो पहले हमारा ये होगा, उसके बाद ये, फिर ये, फिर ये और फिर ये, एंड देयरफॉर द करेक्ट आंसर इज 1. Next one, which among the following information shall be disclosed for all public issues of share irrespective of share price? So guys, theoretical question and बाकी थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस से भी तुम लोग इसको कर सकते थे। कैसे कि डिविडेंड पे आउट रेशियो तो बता ही नहीं सकता आदमी, राइट? अगर आप पब्लिक इशू कर रहे हो शेयर्स का, ठीक है, तो डिविडेंड का तो अभी मतलब ही नहीं बनता, वो तो सिर्फ बाद की बात है। तो बी तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता था, और क्योंकि बी कभी हो ही नहीं सकता था, सो करेक्ट आंसर इज सेकंड, विच इज ए, सी, डी एंड ई. Next one, probable error of coefficient of correlation is defined as this. So guys, ये फॉर्मूला गलत दिया है. So probable error is given by 0.6745 into this factor जो हम लोगों को दिया है, divide by where r is what? R is our coefficient of correlation. Okay, and therefore statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 1 is incorrect. Okay, let us look at statement 2 now. When a null hypothesis is true and test rejects it, it is known as type 1 error. बिल्कुल सही बात है. So type 1 is nothing but rejecting null hypothesis when it is true. Therefore statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct, and correct answer is this one. Next one. As per which of the following approaches a firm finances a part of its permanent as a part of its as a part of its permanent working capital with short term financing. So guys, best idea क्या होता है कि हम जो अपने करंट एसेट्स हैं उनको हम लोग कैसे करें, शॉर्ट टर्म से करें, और जो हमारे फिक्स्ड एसेट्स हैं उसको हम लोग क्या करें, वी फाइनेंस दैट विद लॉन्ग टर्म डेट. ठीक है, लेकिन जब तुम अपने करंट तो शॉर्ट से ही करो, तुम कुछ फिक्स्ड एसेट भी तुम शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंसिंग से अगर तुम फाइनेंस करो, देन दिस इज नोन एज एग्रेसिव अप्रोच. अगर इसका बिल्कुल उल्टा होता तो, जैसे कि तुम अपने कुछ करंट एसेट फाइनेंस टू द लॉन्ग टर्म डेट, देन इट वुड हैव बीन कंजर्वेटिव अप्रोच. अगर दोनों दोनों एक सिर्फ करंट को तुम शॉर्ट से करो, फिक्स को लॉन्ग से करो, देन इट वुड हैव बीन मैचिंग अप्रोच. सो गाइस, इन दिस केस द करेक्ट आंसर इज 3, विच इज एग्रेसिव अप्रोच. सो अगेन गाइज, फॉर्मूला बेस्ड सवाल है, तो मैं दूर दूर साफ साफ दिखता भी है कि ऑब्जर्व्ड और एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रीक्वेंसी हम काई स्क्वायर में लेके आते हैं. ठीक है, दिस इज नथिंग बट योर जेट टेस्ट, दिस इज डी इज नथिंग बट योर एनोवा, एंड करेक्ट आंसर इज 3. नेक्स्ट वन. While wandering in jungle, King Dushant married Shakuntala as narrated in this. He gave her royal ring, which could serve her identity, when she could not, when she would come to meet him in future. However, she had lost the ring. So when she arrived at Dushant place, he failed to recognize her. So which type of error is this? So guys, she was his wife, but still he concluded that she is not the wife because the ring was not there. So we have rejected somebody who was actually true. This is nothing but type 1 error. टाइप 1 एरर क्या होता है कि हम उस नल हाइपोथेसिस को रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं, ऑल्दो दैट इज एक्चुअली ट्रू. देयरफॉर टाइप 1 एरर. Which one of the following represents empirical generalization regarding GDP growth and change in employment? So guys, this is given by ओकुन लॉ. सो ओकुन लॉ क्या बोलता है कि जैसे ही तुम्हारा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट में 1% का इंक्रीज होगा, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट में जैसे ही तुम्हारा 1% का इंक्रीज होगा, सो दिस विल लीड टू अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2% डिक्रीज इन जीडीपी. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन. So R square tends to be smaller for cross-sectional data for time series. Wide fluctuation across cross-sectional data causes small value as R square. दोनों ही correct है, and therefore correct answer is 1. Next one. Which one of the following test measure the applicant's level of knowledge skill in a particular job in which he is interested? HR का सवाल है guys. So correct answer is 2, which is achievement test. So achievement test क्या होता है? तुम्हारा स्किल सेट जो तुम सीखते हो. Aptitude is by default which is there in you. Next one. Which of the following production function is a long-term production function? So guys, long-term production function को तुम कैसे पहचानते हो कि उसमें K और L दोनों वेरिएबल होता है. अगर सिर्फ एक वेरिएबल है K या L तो ये शॉर्ट टर्म है. So एक ही ऑप्शन है जिसमें K और L दोनों है. Therefore correct answer is 2nd. Which one of the following expression is not correct to calculate coefficient of correlation between two values? So option C is incorrect. Why? क्योंकि ये जो नीचे हमें डिनोमिनेटर में स्क्वायर दिया है ये गलत है, इसकी जगह 4 is right. Therefore 3 is incorrect way of writing coefficient of correlation. Our answer is 3. Which one of the following approaches of capital structure pleads that debt financing initially increases the value of firm, however excess debt financing beyond a particular point reduces the value of firm? So guys, हमारी ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच में क्या होता है, ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच में द वैल्यू ऑफ फर्म फर्स्ट इंक्रीजेस देन इट डिक्रीजेस. सो दिस इज द वैल्यू and this is your leverage ratio, or you can say debt to equity ratio. So this is your leverage. So it first increases, then it decreases. This is what happened in traditional approach. Okay. So correct answer is 3. Next one. A company has 10% perpetual debt of rupees 1 lakh. Tax rate is 35%. Which one of the following is the after tax cost of capital, assuming that debt is issued at 10% premium? So guys, first we'll calculate our NP, which is nothing but 1 lakh और 1 lakh का 10% प्रीमियम. सो ये बन जाएगा 1,10,000. ठीक है. देन वी हैव टू फाइंड द cost of debt what after tax. So guys, हम लोग कैसे निकालेंगे इसको? So it is a 10% per perpetual debt. So 10% of 1 लाख कितना होगा? 10,000 डिवाइडेड बाई 1,10,000 जो हमने अभी निकाला है. ठीक है. इनटू 1 minus 0.35, and it will give us the answer of 0.05909, which is nothing but second option. Next one. By switching to long-term government bonds, the investor acquires an asset whose price fluctuate as interest vary. Yes. Bond prices fall when interest rate rise, and vice versa. Yes, guys. So both statements are true, and R is explaining A. Therefore, it is correct. Okay. Next question is about assumptions of hypothesis. So all of them are correct assumptions except 3, that all financing is done through retained earning. Therefore our answer is A, B, D, and E. Therefore 3 is the answer. Okay. Again, guys, match the it's question on match the following. So we'll start with what? We'll start with maybe standard error. So guys, standard error is what? Standard error is nothing but standard deviation of the estimate. Okay. Then we can look at maybe p value. So guys, p value is given by maximum level of significance where null hypothesis would be accepted. Then maybe we can look at f test. F test are used as test of significance in the regression equation. So finally, what is left is power of test. So power of test is nothing but probability that test will lead to rejection. So guys, power of test is nothing but 1 minus type 2 error. 1 minus type 2 error probability gives the power of test. Therefore, my correct answer is 2. Next one. Okay, there are some statements. So which one is false? Second is false. Second हमें क्या दिया है कि Z score is the value of X. Z score value of X is ratio between X divided by mean. So guys, this is wrong. Z square क्या होता है guys? So Z square is the distance of any value from what? From mean. Distance of any value from mean in terms of standard deviations. This is my Z square. Therefore, correct answer is 2. Because second statement is false. Next one. Which of the following are properties of binomial distribution? So guys, binomial distribution usually looks like this. ठीक है. इसका मतलब सिमेट्रिकल भी हो सकता है और स्क्यूड भी हो सकता है. यस, यूनिमोडल या बेल शेप्ड या सिमेट्रिकल नहीं. देन इट इज नॉट एसिम्प्टोटिक नहीं. एनआरपीआर 2 पैरामीटर बिल्कुल ठीक है. म्यू एंड सिग्मा 2 पैरामीटर बिल्कुल नहीं. इनफैक्ट म्यू और सिग्मा से हम क्या रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? वी रिप्रेजेंट नॉर्मल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. Therefore, binomial distribution, therefore correct answer is A and D, and correct answer is 2. Next one. Currency depreciation in Indian rupees in recent times has been largely attributed to. currency depreciation. So guys, एक एक करके देख लेते हैं. So currency कब depreciate होगी? So one is when there are higher import. So guys, higher import से क्या होता है? That because we are importing because we are importing a lot, it means it means that that too few if you're having more, if you're having more imports, then too few uh, dollars are being chased by more rupees. Too few dollars are being chased by more rupees, and because now rupees is more, therefore currency will depreciate. Again, guys, I'll repeat, because too few dollars are being chased by more rupees, because you are importing, everybody is importing, you have to pay and you have to pay in rupees, which will get you have to pay in dollars, so somebody will convert rupees to dollars. Therefore, in case of high import, the currency will depreciate. Similarly, portfolio outflows mein kya hoga, guys? Again, same thing, because they are outflows, the rupees are going out, and therefore currency will depreciate. So C and E currency will depreciate. In other yeah, increasing FDI flow, in fact currency will appreciate, because now everybody chasing Indian rupees. Declining domestic saving, again same thing. Higher currency circulation, again same thing. Therefore correct answer is C and D, which is our fourth. Next one, multi-collinearity in the regression analysis is measured by. So guys, multi-collinearity is nothing but this is a higher level of correlation between what? Between independent variables. So we measure it with the R square, and so we calculate tolerance of R square, and that is how we measure it. Next one, which is the following statement regarding the short-term theory of production and cost analysis is false. So guys, in this case, our A is correct, C is correct, and E is correct, and our B and D are false, and therefore correct answer is 2. Next one, the contribution margin can be increased by which of the following? So guys, contribution margin is nothing but sales minus variable costs. So we can increase either by increasing the selling price or changing the sales mixture. So बाकी तीनों से नहीं होगा, and therefore correct answer is A and B only. Next one, purpose of stock split is what? The purpose of stock split, so when we are splitting a stock, we are making it available to more number of guys. So B and D are the correct options. Therefore, choice 2 is correct. Which one of the following statistical identities are used in comparing the two regression equations based on different sample sizes? So guys, again, what do we use is adjusted R square.
Now, the question is, which one of the following aims at the task dimension of organizational change? Options are broadening or narrowing span of control, diversifying into additional businesses, improving the efficiency of machines, reallocating authority. So basically, task dimension of organizational change is related to diversifying into additional businesses. So correct option is 2. Okay, in the next question, out of the following statements which are not true in respect of limited liability partnership, 4 statements are given. First is there must be at least one designated member at all times. Designated members do not have the same rights and duties as any other member. There is no specific requirement to have any non-designated members. And the last one is an LLP may be established such that all members are considered to be designated members. So basically, in this question, 2 statements are not true. That is first 2, A and B. Okay, so these are untrue. Why? Because as per LLP Act, there must be at least 2 designated partners at all times, and designated partners have the same rights and duties as any other members. So the other 2 options are correct. So the answer must be second option. Okay, A and B only. Next. Which of the following are included in salary as per section 17(1) of the Income Tax Act? So 5 options are given, and straightforward question from the definition part is they're asking wages, any pension or annuity, any interest from government securities, any gratuity, any advance of salary. So all are included in the definition of salary except any interest from government securities. So the answer must be A, B, D and E only. That is third option. Next question. Which of the following companies cannot be a small company? Again, a straightforward question from the definitions of Companies Act. And when we look at the definition of exclusions of the small company, then we get to know the answer of this question. So they're asking which of the following companies cannot be a small company, a holding company or a subsidiary company, company registered under Section 8, and a company or body corporate governed by any special act. So exclusion says that the nothing contained in the definition of small company applies to this holding company, company registered under Section 8, and company governed by any special act. So these cannot be small company, right? So the correct option should be 2. Okay, clear? Fine. Next is, according to the contingency approach, the factors governing the span of management are, basically they are referring to the span of management first, and according to the contingency approach. So contingency approach is that the person has to act according to the situation, right? So when we look at the factors governing span of management, all the factors are relevant, whichever is mentioned in the question. Okay. So that is type of work, ability of the manager, ability of the employees, level of management, geographic location. So these all are factors governing the span of management. So the correct option should be 4. A, B, C, D and E. Okay. Next. Which one of the following duties is not a general duty of the directors of the company? Okay. Again, this is a question from Companies Act, and section 166 talks about general duties of the directors. So duty to attend board meetings is not specified under the general duties of the directors. Rest all are specified when you look at that section. That is duty of good faith in order to promote the objects of the company for the benefit of the company itself, for the benefit of the shareholders, for the benefit of the employees. Then second, it is given duty of due and reasonable care, skill and diligence, and shall exercise independent judgment. That has been also specified under the Companies Act, and duty not to delegate or assign his office assignment. Okay, so the correct option to this question is 3. Okay, because they are asking not a journal duty. Then we have again the question that is asking to arrange the steps. Okay, arrange the following steps in designing in the design thinking process for an innovative solution to a problem. So even we do not know the answer, we can easily have a hint of the answer by looking at the options. Simply, we need to empathize. Empathize here basically means whenever we need to research upon the needs of the users. Okay, so this must be first, and then we are going to define the problem. Okay, because we have to check out the innovative solution to a problem, and then we have to ideate. Ideate is whenever we challenge the assumptions and create new ideas. Okay, so this must be our third. And then we prototype. So prototype here means that we have to start creating solutions. And last but not the least is test. So whenever we have come out with the solutions to the problem, we have to start trying our solutions. Okay, so the correct option is our C, D, A, E and B. So third, right? Okay, next. Again, it's a very simple question from MBTI framework, which is given by Here, Jungian aspects: sensing, thinking, feeling, perceiving. So if we are talking about sensing, sensing refers to that aspect or those personalities who basically they collect information using their five organs, five sense organs. Okay, so whenever we are talking about thinking, so any decision taken by them is based on objectivity or rationality and logics. So feeling, that is connected to they always try to harmonize with others. And when we are talking about perceiving, so they are quite flexible, and they are good at seeing various kinds of alternatives, and they're quite accommodating in nature. So sensing is related to here, would work with known facts, then look for possibilities and relationships. And then thinking relies more on interpersonal analysis and logic than on personal values. Okay, and then if we are talking about feeling here, so feeling is related to uh, relies more on personal values than on impersonal analysis and logic. So basically they are connected more with others. So perceiving, flexible, spontaneous way rather than planned and orderly way of life. So correct option is option 2, A 2, B 4, and then C is 1 and D 3, right? Which of the following issues are covered in social marketing? Even if we do not know the concept of social marketing, the name itself is suggesting that all these issues are related to social aspects: tobacco, family planning, public health, financial well-being, social good. Okay, so fourth should be the correct option: A, B, C, D, and D to this question. Okay, next. Which of the following are correctly needed to claim exemptions in respect of HRA? A very straightforward question from the income tax, and a very good question. So basically, HRA exemption is based on salary, place of residence, also rent paid, HRA received, but not on standard rent. Okay, so basically, if we are talking about HRA deduction, it is dependent upon three limits. That is the actual HRA received, or 50% or 40% of the basic salary or DA based on the place of the residence. And the third limit is excess of rent paid over 10% of salary. So least of these three can be claimed as HRA exemption. Okay, so the correct option is A, B, D, and E. Third one, right? Next. Which of the following cannot use ITR 1 form to file return under the Indian Income Tax Act? So ITR 1 is also commonly known as Sehaj form. Okay, so who are not eligible to file ITR 1? That is, so they are asking us cannot file. So any individual who is a director, he is not allowed. An individual who has any asset located outside India, he is not allowed. Whose total income does not exceed rupees 50 lakhs, they are allowed. Okay. An individual who has income from any source outside India, not allowed. Any individual who has invested in any unlisted equity shares at any time during the previous year, not allowed. So only C option is into the category who can file ITR 1, right? So the correct option should be A, B, D, and E, right? That is answer 2. Okay. When the incoming partner cannot bring premium for goodwill, then the necessary adjustments for goodwill is done through. So this is a very straightforward question. Whenever incoming partner is not bringing premium for the goodwill, there can be two cases where the goodwill exists in the books of the company and where the goodwill does not exist, right? So the adjustments are made out of capital accounts of the partners, right? So the option 2 is correct. Which of the following business would most likely use job order costing? Basically, under job order costing, product is produced for specific orders. So it is most likely suitable for a print shop that specializes in wedding invitations. So the correct option to this question is fourth. Okay, which is the single most important driver of innovation in a business firm? So the reference is given to a name, Gerard J. Tellis, 2013. Basically, according to this person only, he had given a book that is known as Unrelenting. The title of the book is Unrelenting Innovation. So under in this book only, he has referred that the most important single driver of the innovation is culture. Okay. The correct option to this question is 4. Okay. A practical question wherein we have to calculate interest coverage ratio. Information is very straightforward. Interest coverage ratio is basically it tells us the relationship of the profit available and the interest payable by the company. Okay, so what is the formula for its computation? That is EBIT, earning before interest and tax, upon interest on long term debts. So straightforward, the numerator is given to us and we need to calculate denominator. 15% term loan, so definitely we have to pay interest on this term loan at the rate of rupees 15% on rupees 50 lakhs. That comes out to 7,50,000. Working capital term loan from bank at 20%, the total is rupees 30 lakhs. So 20% on 30 lakhs amounts to 6 lakh, right? 10% preference share capital, rupees 10 lakh. So don't get confused. Preference share capital would always fetch dividend instead of interest. So we will not include this amount in our calculation. Public deposits we have accepted, so we have to pay 14% interest on rupees 15 lakh. This comes out to be 2,10,000. So total of interest. So my numerator was 35 lakhs. And my denominator, the total of 7,50,000, 6 lakh and 2,10,000 comes out to be 15,60,000, and this comes out my 2.24. So correct option is 3. Very straightforward question from the accounts. Okay, next question. A is entitled to children education allowance at rupees 80 per month per child for 3 children. So everyone knows that children education allowance is allowed for a maximum of 2 children, that too at the rate of rupees 100. Okay, but don't get confused, that is the maximum exemption. Here he is getting rupees 80 per month, so 80 at for 2 children, that would amount to rupees 160. So the correct option is rupees 160 per month. Okay. Next is amount unutilized in the capital gain scheme for which exemption was claimed under section 54 shall be treated as long-term capital in the previous year in which period of 3 years has expired from the date of transfer. Okay. Why basically this amount unutilized in the capital gain? So basically section 54 is talking about those persons who have sold any residential house and post that they are going to invest that amount in the purchase of another residential house. So if they are not going to do this within a time span of 3 years, whatever is the amount unutilized, that will be treated as long-term capital gain for them and they will be taxed accordingly, right? So correct option is option number 4. And this 3 years time period is calculated okay, from the date of the transfer. Okay, next question is, if the assessee is engaged in the business of growing and manufacturing tea in India, straightforward question, the agriculture income in that case shall be 60% of the income of such business. So agriculture income is 60% and rest 40% would amount to business income. Okay, so the correct option is option 3. Next question. A company does not include the value of skills gained by its employees from training programs and its annual financial statements. Which one of the following is being applied in this case? Going concern, money measurement. So simply the concepts referred here is money measurement concept. So according to this concept, all transactions of monetary value should only be recorded in the financial statements, because the value of skills gained by its employees cannot be measured in monetary terms. So that cannot be included, right? So the correct option is 2. Okay. Which section of the Indian Companies Act 2013 among the following provides for the appointment of the first auditor by the board of directors within 1 month of the date of registration of the company? So they have asked section number from the Companies Act, and if I have to talk about 139 2, that talks about cooling off period of auditors for a listed company. 142 talks about remuneration of auditors, and it is this 139(6) which says that the appointment of first auditors should be done by the board of directors within 1 month from the date of the registration of the company. Okay, so correct option is 139(6). Okay, which one of the following rights is usually not available to a partner consequent to a dissolution of the firm? So Indian Partnership Act 1932 refers to the rights of the partners consequent upon the dissolution of the firm. So every right is mentioned except right to be consulted. Right to be consulted. So the correct option is option 3. So equitable distribution of firm's property, return of premium on premature winding up, restraint on any partner from the use of firm name after dissolution. So these rights are mentioned. Okay. So correct option is 3 to this question. Okay. Now this is a question based on entrepreneurial theories of famous people along with their description. So Thomas Cochrane's theory of cultural values. The complete name is theory of cultural values. Okay, so that goes with this. The environment in which an individual is brought up determines his entrepreneurial urge. Rotter's locus of control theory goes with this. First, highlight the self-confidence of the person and the dependency on fortune and external environment of becoming an entrepreneur. So basically, if you know the definition of locus of control, you can deduce out of that also that this goes with 1. Okay, MacLean's theory, we know that MacLean has also given this uh, need for achievement, right? So this goes with 4th. The need for achievement drives and stimulates entrepreneurship. And Max Weber, she talked about this religious beliefs are the driving and restraining forces for entrepreneurial activity. Okay, this goes with 2. So correct option is first A3, B1, and then C is connected with 4th, and D is going with 2 option, second option. Okay. Next is logically sequence the following stages in the organizational life cycle of the business firm. Most easiest question, very simple, even if we haven't learned about this thing. So organizational life cycle, if we have to talk about, it should start with the startup, right? So in 3 of the options, so second option is already eliminated. Go for next checking startup. After startup, definitely we have to work upon the survival. So B. Then our first option is also that gets eliminated. Only third and fourth is left. Now after survival, then we will go for expansion. Okay, so correct option should be 4th, DBA, and then we will be going for consolidation, and the decline stage starts at last. Okay, next, arrange the following steps in a logical sequence of the process of management audit. So everything which starts must have some objectives. Even if we do not know anything about management or audit, the first sequence should start from this very part, objectives, isn't it? So if we apply logic by identifying this thing, we can go for checking on this 4th part, because only this says that DBAEC D, right? So D, let us check other options. B, review of organizational structures. Yes, that must be the second step. Then we need to identify responsibility centers. After identifying them, we have to review the performance of each of the responsibility center, and then reporting is the last criteria, of course, right, in any audit. So fourth is the correct answer to this question. Okay. Arrange the following process of making a contract in the chronological sequence from the first to last. So everyone knows that whenever there is agreement, uh, how does a promise becomes a promise? There is offer, and then that offer is accepted. Then whenever this offer gets accepted, this becomes promise. So first step is this. Okay, offer and then acceptance. Okay, this is under one only, and then this becomes our promise. And whenever we have to convert it into agreement, there is some consideration, and those agreements which are legally enforceable, they become contract. So this is the right sequence. Okay, so first is the correct option to this question.
All right. So the next question is SEBI's skin in the game rule is applicable to which of the following financial intermediaries? The options which were given in the paper were merchant bankers, financial advisors, mutual funds, and brokerages. The correct answer to this question is mutual funds. The skin in the game rule came into effect on 1st October 2021, in which it was said that the key employees of mutual funds have to house key employees of mutual funds with unit holders. They need to invest a minimum of 20% of their income in the schemes so that they also have some skin in the game. All right. So the next question is a very simple match the following question, in which in the list one they have given different types of tariffs, which is tarifications and three different subsidies: prohibited subsidies, actionable subsidies, and non-actionable subsidies. So to answer this question, it's very important to know what these terms actually mean. So the first term which is given is tarification. What does tarification means? Tarifications are nothing but the procedures which are related to the agricultural market access. All right, in which all non-tariff measures, all non-tariff measures are converted into tariffs. So the correct one is option 3. Option 3. So A goes with 3. The second one are prohibited subsidies. What are prohibited subsidies? These are those subsidies which require the recipients to meet certain criteria, certain export targets, or they have to use the domestic goods instead of the imported goods. So the correct option is B is 2. All right. The next one are actionable subsidies. What does actionable subsidies actually mean? Actionable subsidies are those subsidies which might injure the domestic industry of another country or cause serious prejudice to the interest of another country. All right. So the correct one will be 3. So it becomes B is 2 and C is 1. Okay. The final option was non-actionable subsidies. What are non-actionable subsidies? These are those subsidies which are provided to industry research in non-competitive development activities or for disadvantaged regions. So the correct option is 4th. D is 4th. So the correct answer was option 3. The next question categorizes. This is a very simple question based upon types of adopters. Everybody reads about these different types, and the fifth one is laggards, which is not given in the option. So the question asks about the category of customers who are opinion leaders. This is a very important term in this question. Who carefully search for new technologies which that might give them a dramatic competitive advantage. So the options which were given were early adopters, innovators, early majority, or late majority. The correct answer to this question is early adopters. Now, who are early adopters? These are the people who use the new product, innovation, technology, anything before any other person. And they make their opinions, and they have some risk, but they create the opinion. So these are the opinion leaders. So the correct answer is early adopters. All right. So next question. This is a very, very, very simple question. You just need to know McKinsey's 7S framework. If you all remember, McKinsey's 7S framework has 7 different elements in 2 different categories. These categories are hard and soft. Now, what are the options, or what are the elements that are added in this category? The hard one has strategy in it, then it has structure in it, and then it has system in it. While the soft category has shared values, skills, style, and staff. And out of these 7 elements which were given in the question, shared values was given, strategy was given, and system was given. So option A, C, and E, which is given in first. So that is the correct answer. The next one is another simple question based upon international money transfer. All you have to do is actually know the full form of these terms. All right. What does RTGS stand for? Real time gross settlement. It allows for instantaneous funds and securities to be transferred. What does NEFT stand for? National Electronic Fund Transfer. It is used for nationwide. It's a centralized system used for nationwide transfer. It is owned as well as taken care of by the RBI. The next one is your SWIFT. What does SWIFT stand for? SWIFT stand for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. And this is the correct answer, SWIFT. All you have to do is know the full form of these terms and you can answer them very easily. The next question is a e-filing procedure. E-filing procedure. If you have ever studied income tax, this would have been the first thing that you would have studied, how to file your income tax. And we all do it in our day-to-day lives as well, right? So just look at the options, look at the elements which they have given: login, registration, verification, downloading the utility, filing the return. All of these things are very straightforward. So if you check them out, you have to register first, then you have to log in, then you have to download, file, and verify. The correct sequence was given in option number 2. The next question: which of the following is not a generic strategy given by Porter? If you guys remember, Michael Porter in 1985 wrote a book. That book was Competitive advantage, creating and sustaining superior performance. In this book, he talks about the generic strategies, and these generic strategies were three. They were cost leadership, focus, and differentiation. So, which of the given options is not a part? Market penetration. Simple, very simple questions. Now, in this question, they have given us two different statements. The first statement says, in the case of life insurance, the insurable interest must be present in the person insured at the time. This particular line is very important. At the time when the event happened, this is false. You have to insure the person before, right? And the person who would get benefited should be somebody related to them with a non-negotiable aspect, a relationship which cannot be negotiated on, right? So this statement becomes false. The second statement says, in case of fire insurance, the insurable interest must be present in the object insured at the time when the policy is taken and the event has happened. This statement is absolutely true. So the correct answer is option number 4. Now, when you get to this particular question, this has very straightforward points in it. All you have to do is understand what is a point estimator. What is a point estimator? Point estimators are nothing but the functions that are used to find an approximate value of a population parameter from random sample of population. See, you can actually understand this with a very basic, very simple example. For example, take a city. Okay, that is your entire population, right? Take a city. Now, if you actually take a sample size of 100 people living in that particular city, you take their income and you try to estimate what will be the general average income of the entire population. That is your point estimation, right? Now, in this, there are three different properties which needs to be there. That is efficiency, consistency, and unbiasedness. So the correct answer for this particular question is B, C, and E, which is given in option number 4. Okay, so this question talks about the different types of costings and their descriptions. If you guys understand, if you guys know, like, there is one thing that you guys need to understand about match the following question. If you guys understand even one or two different terms, at least two different terms in a particular question, you can answer match the following just by matching those two terms. All right, and then you can even eliminate certain parts. Right, now let's start off with the first type of costing that is given, marginal costing. What is marginal costing? Marginal costing is nothing but change in the total production cost that comes from making or producing one additional unit. So in the description, if you look, there is only one option which has by 1 unit in it, increased. Volume of output is increased by 1 unit, right? So A can be connected to 2, right? The second one is given as ABC costing or activity based costing. What does ABC costing stand for? ABC costing creates a relationship between the cost overhead activities as well as the manufactured products. So if you look in the description, the fourth one talks about costing system in which cost is being traced of activities and then producing the product. So it is creating a relationship between them, right? So B talks about 4. If you guys check, there is only one option with these two correct combinations in it, A2 and B4. So you do not even need to go to the next two costing statements. You can directly just pick option A. All right. The next question talks about the different objectives of business firms as well as the people who suggested them. Right. The first one which is given is sales revenue maximization, and sales revenue maximization was given by Bumol. Maximization of firm's growth rate was given by Robin Maris. Long-term survival was given by Rothschild, as well as satisfying behavior was given by Sert and March. So the correct option is A. Now, this question is a very straightforward question. What does this question actually do? It talks about export processing zones as well as free trade zones, right? So how are these two different? Because export processing zone promotes units which are primarily devoted to export. This is an absolutely true statement, right? Now, the reason which is given in the question is exports imported to a free trade zone can be re-exported without any processing. But when you send them to a EPZ zone, they need to undergo some value addition. This is also true, and this is an absolutely correct reason for your assertion to be correct. So the answer is A, option 1. Now, the next question talks about different economic frameworks. Stackelberg model, Nash equilibrium, Peter's strategic framework. This should be actually Porter's strategic framework. And then you have prisoner dilemma. All you have to do is match them up, right? So the Stackelberg model talks about a market leader as well as a follower. Whatsoever the market leader do, the follower follows it, right? So A can be correctly described by description given in third. Now you have your Nash equilibrium. Your Nash equilibrium talks about a particular situation in which each and every player creates their own optional strategies, which will be according to the strategy given by other players. So the correct combination is B to 4. Now, this is given in which option? Option number 2. So answer is option 2. This, I'm trying to just explain this thing. You do not need to match each and everything which is given in the list. If you can match at least 2, you can get the correct answer. All right, they won't make it so that you would need to match at least 3 to get the correct answer. This never happens. They do not make that difficult questions. All you guys need to understand is how to make your questions easier for your own self. Okay, now simple question. This question talks about price ceiling, price matching, lining, and pricing power. All they have given is a particular pricing strategy, pricing practice, in which what they are doing, they are setting a price target and then developing the product according to that particular price so that the firm maximizes its profit. This can be explained only by one particular term given in this question, which is price lining. You create a pricing target. For example, think of it in this particular manner, that I will create a mobile phone of 20,000 rupees, right? And then you start making your product in such a particular manner that the pricing comes around that and the company can profit through it. They can maximize their total profits. All right. The next question talks about portfolio approach to investing. Now, what does portfolio approach talks about? Portfolio approach talks about putting your money, investing your money in different places, in different strategies, so that you can optimize the risk. Optimize the risk, right? So it talks about risk optimization. You see how simply they have put. All you have to do is understand the concepts which are given in your syllabus. These are not the type of questions of which you'll just look through your books and be over with. No, you need to understand the concept and then you'll be able to answer them. The next question talks about marketing tactics. When you are designing a customer value, when you're designing a customer value, what are the most important things? What type of service you will provide? Absolutely correct. This is an important thing. Then the brand. Of course, the brand is important. And then what are the different incentives that you will give to the customer? The only tactic which is not important in this is your communication. You do not need to communicate, right? So the correct answer is communication. The next one. Now it talks about psychographic segmentation. What does psychographic segmentation? About the person in their own self, what their style is. You need to talk about that, right? Out of the given points, out of the five given points, loyalty status, buyer readiness state, as well as the user status has zero relation to internal prospects of the subject, right? The internal personality, these three things have nothing to do with internal personality. What are actually related to internal personality is the lifestyle they follow as well as the values that they have. So the correct option is B and D, which is given in option number 1. Now it talks about the basic stages of a marketing process. How do you market? How do you actually make a marketing process? The first thing that you actually do is market research, right? This is the first thing. So option D should be the first thing, right? If you look at the options which were given in this particular question, there is only one option with D as first. The correct option is 1. But let's just look at the different stages which are given. The first is marketing research. Then you plan according to that particular research. Then you create a market mix. You implement it and then you control and evaluate it. So DCABE. Simple, right? Moving on to the next question. This question talks about a very small but a very specific, very well-defined segment. If you guys have studied different types of marketings, you'll understand that this can only mean one particular thing. Niche market, right? It talks about niche marketing. It's a basic definition of niche marketing. The next question has certain business characteristics in it, and they have given descriptions. Another match the following question. Now, if you check out the different characteristics which they have given, they have talked about cash cows, crown jewels, fallen angels, as well as white squares, right? If you have ever studied BCG matrix, cash cow should be the first thing that pops in your head, right? And if you look at the description, there is only one which talks about cash cow. So the correct description is a BCG term which talks about a business segment that has a high market share in low growth markets, right? It will provide you with money as much as you want, right? Then there is something called as crown jewels given in this. What are crown jewels? Crown jewels are the most valuable segments of a company, most valuable segments. So B correctly described in first, right? But let's just do all four of these in this. Okay. Then it talks about fallen angels. What does fallen angels talk about? Fallen angels are whose ratings have completely dropped to a below investment grade. Nobody wants, they used to be something very big in one particular moment, but now nobody wants to invest in them. So C can be given by fourth, which leaves us with white square and a third party friendly, which is trying to make an unwanted takeover, but you provide it to somebody else, right? What does white square talk about? White square is a particular situation in which, for example, there's an XYZ company that is trying to take over your company. So what you actually do, you go to a third party, which is a friendly to you, and then you tell them, you take over us so that the XYZ party cannot take us, right? So D can be given by completely simply described by the thing given in option 2, the description 2. So the correct answer is fourth. Moving on to the next question. The next question talks about financial inclusion indexes, financial inclusion index, and it talks about their parameters. There are three major parameters, three major parameters of FI index. What are those three parameters? The first is access, the second is usage, and the third is quality. So the correct parameters which were given in the question were availability and usage, ease of access, as well as the quality of financial inclusion. So the correct answer is BCE given in option number 4.
Okay, so the next question is Sweezy's King demand curve model to explain the price and output determination relates to which type of market structure. So what is the Sweezy's King demand curve? It basically actually gave a model which explained the reason behind the price rigidity which is found under oligopoly. All right, it explained the reason behind the price rigidity under oligopoly. So the correct answer is oligopoly, which is fourth one. All right, next question. Now there is this product life cycle stages are given, and at one side pricing strategies are given. I hope everybody knows what is a product life cycle. It basically shows the progression of a product through distinct and various stages in a lifetime. All right, so all the stages are given here. We have just to tell like which kind of pricing strategy is related to what kind of stage, all right, or is adopted at various stages. So first is given is decline. So under decline, what happens is there is price reduction. All right. So A is this price reduction. Now the maturity stage. Under the maturity stage, what is done is price is basically to meet or to beat or match the competitors' prices. It is during the maturity stage. Now the growth stage, while growing up, what happens is price is there to penetrate the market. All right, so it is here. Now during the introduction stage, what happens is when we are introducing a product, there is just the cost and the price is only set to cover the cost. So basically the cost plus the price is what happens during the introduction stages. All right, so accordingly option number C, which is third one, is the correct answer. A third, B 1, C fourth, and D is number 2, which is charge cost plus price. All right, this is the correct option. All right, next question. Which one of the following is not coordinated in the vertical integration of the integrated marketing communications? Now, what is the integrated marketing communication system? Integrated marketing communication system, basically marketing and the communication objectives, these both are actually aligned to support the higher level objectives and goals of the organization. All right, the corporate objectives or the missions of the organizations. Now, there are two kind of integrations in integrated marketing communication. One is vertical, another one is horizontal. All right. So here the options are the question is talking about the vertical integration. So under the vertical integration, sales, product development, and customer service are taken care of, but pricing is not taken care here, because under the horizontal integration, what happens is here the focus is on the marketing mix. All right, the marketing mix, I'm writing shorthand here. All right, marketing mix, and the coordination is seen among various the functions, various business functions. What kind of business functions? Such as production, such as finance, and maybe distribution. All right. So vertical integration is aligning the objectives of marketing and communication with that of the higher corporate goals and objectives. In horizontal, the things which are taken care of is marketing mix and various other business functions. So here you could do this question by elimination method also, if you are very well aware about what is integrated marketing communication and the two dimensions of that. All right. So pricing is the correct option here. All right. Next is another match the following question. Here the marketing concept is given and the description is given. All right. So it is a very easy question, even if you have no factual knowledge about it, but even if even by going through the terminology which is being used, you can actually mark the correct option here. All right. So first is brand equity. Brand equity is related to when the goodwill consumers, when the consumers have loyalty towards the company. So goodwill consumers, they have when they have the goodwill related to the brand. All right. So we call it as brand equity. Acha. Next one is brand identity. Now, what is brand identity? Brand identity is basically the identity of the brand. What kind of color there are specific colors that are used for a particular brand. For example, in the logo of Benetton, you have seen green colored logo of Benetton. All right. So there is particular color, there is particular design and specific logos and labels of a brand, which basically helps to distinguish the brand of a particular company from that of the another brand of another company. All right. So brand equity is number 3. Now, next one is brand image. What is the meaning of brand image here? Brand image is basically what the image the brand carries in the minds of the consumers. All right. What kind of perceptions or the judgments or the analysis the consumers have towards the brand. So here brand image is related to the mental perception and association of consumers related to the brand. All right. Acha. Last one is market potential. Obviously the remaining one, and even if you see it and read it carefully, is it is the maximum possible demand for a product. Potential is what kind of demand a product can attract. All right. So it is maximum possible demand for a product when marketing expenditure in the industry is infinite. When there is infinite expenditure, all right, then how maximum the demand level can reach accordingly. All right. So here, according to this, the option number A, or we can say 1, is correct here. All right. Next question. Which of the following statements are true regarding the price and output determination under perfect competition? A very simple question. Everyone knows about the the basic features of perfect competition, such as all the companies are selling identical products here. All right. There is the firm is the price taker and the industry is the price maker. Okay. And what are the other features of that? For example, there are no barriers as such for entry and exit of the firms here. So accordingly, we have to decide what are true regarding the price and output. All right. So the first one, a firm is a price taker. It is correct here. Why is a firm a price taker and industry is a price setter or a maker here? Because in what happens in product perfect competition, there are various competitors who are producing identical products. All right. So what a firm does is it has to follow the set equilibrium price of the industry. They cannot vary their prices because immediately their demand would be affected according to that. All right. So they have to accept the equilibrium price of the market which is there. So it is a what price taker. Next is, in the long run, a firm is in equilibrium when its average revenue, marginal revenue, long-term average cost, and the long-term marginal costs are equal. Yes, this is very true of it, because because in long term, in a perfect competition, all firms, they try to optimize their size. All right. It actually what they actually do in the long term is they try to charge the minimum possible price, which is actually just able to cover the costs. Or okay, so the revenue and the costs are equally they are considered equal here, and then a firm is considered under an equilibrium in long run here. All right. So A and B are the correct options here. Okay. All right. So other ones, if you are very well aware about the concept of perfect competition, you can easily eliminate the options. A firm is in equilibrium in the short run only when it is like that. No, it is not true. A firm reaches its shutdown point when price goes below the average cost. No, even this is not true. Firm fixes price of its product when average revenue is equal to the marginal revenue. Even this is not true in with regard to the perfect competition. So the correct options only are A and B. Option number 2 here is correct. Next question. Which of the following factors restrain globalization? All right, very easy question. Eliminate bhi mat karo, सीधा you can mark the correct options here. First is international economic integration. Is this necessary? Will it actually constrain or restrain globalization? No, because it would enhance the capacity of a company or a country to grow globally. Next is nationalism. Yes, if you have a strong feeling of nationalism, if you think that your national product should only be the product should only be produced in your own nation and should be sold in your own nations, the people should buy only the national products. This is the feeling of nationalism. So it would obviously restrain globalization. So B is correct. Next is emerging trade barriers. Obviously, when you put more of the trade barriers, when you put higher custom and excise duties, for example, it would hamper globalization. So this is also correct here. Next is regulatory controls. Obviously, when you put more taxes here, and you put various kind of conditions for FPIs and FDIs, then also you would be restraining the globalization. Last is move towards free marketing system. No, this would help in going the firms global in that way. So B, C, and D are the correct options here, which is option number 3. All right. Next question. Okay, so the question talks about RBI Financial Inclusion Index, which is FI index. Quality parameter captures information on which of the following? Okay, let me just first tell you what is this RBI Financial Inclusion Index. Basically, RBI introduced this kind of index in 2021. All right, and one major thing about it is it has no base year. Without any base year, without making any comparisons with the previous year, RBI actually talks about the financial inclusion. So what it is, why is it released? It is released to capture, we can say, to capture the level or the extent of financial inclusion in the country. Okay, And for doing that, it has various kind of parameters as the question is asking, or we can say various indicators for that. Okay, so in total there are 97 indicators, or we can say parameters, but the major ones are: number one is ease of access. Okay, number two is availability and usage of service, and the last one is quality of service. All right. So one thing I want to tell you here is UGC has actually given option 4 as the correct answer, which is financial literacy, consumer protection, and inequality and deficiency in service. But the correct answer, according to the facts which are there about the FI index, is the correct option should be 2, which is C, D, and E here. All right. So you can also, refer the RBI's website. Even there you can get it clearly. It is clearly being given here that what are the 3 basic parameters here, and option number 2 is the correct option. All right, next one. Which of the following pricing method is used in regulated industries? All right, so what are the regulated industries? Regulated industries are which works according to the mandate of the government. All right. Now, what kind of pricing is used here? Markup pricing, target rate of return pricing, economic value to customer, or competitive pricing. So here, target rate of return pricing is used. Now, what is this target rate of return pricing? When you already have, government already sets the target rate of return on the investment it makes on the production of goods in the country. All right, so when it is this thing that we have to target the rate of return, if we get the required rate of return on what we have invested, according to that we'll set the price of the goods and the services there. All right, so the option number 2 is the correct option here. Next one. Which of the following is not true for authority? See, please note here one thing, that sometimes in questions there not actually is given on capital letters. So it is easily be understood and be focused upon, or it easily grabs the attention of the candidate. But when it is given in the small letters, I would request you to please go through each and every word of the question very particularly. All right, so here we have to focus on what is not true of the authority. It is a very easy question. All right, if you go through the options, you would easily be able to mark the correct option in one go. Which is not true? Not true is all of the 3 options, if you read, are correct according to the definition or the concept of authority. But what is not true is it serves as a basis of both formal and informal organization. Authority is not the basis of the organization. It actually is a part of the organization when it actually happens. All right, various informal organizations do not support the concept of authority sometimes. All right, so option number 4 is the correct one. Even through elimination, you could mark this option as correct. Next one. Which of the following are the essential elements for defining a business? All right, not only for the business as an entity, but how to define a business. All right, so let us see the options one by one. Dealers, are they important for defining a business? No. Products, yes, obviously when you are doing a business, you obviously have some product or the service at hand which you want to deliver to the customer, so that you can get the price for that and you can make revenue and profit out of that. So products is important. Where would you sell that product? To the customers in the market. So market is also essential element for defining a business. Now competitors, see, competitors are important for a business to grow itself, to make itself more competitive in the market, to survive there. But defining a business, we cannot say competitors are important in defining a business. All right, next one is functions. Obviously when you have a business, you have multiple functions there, such as HR, marketing, finance. All these functions are also very important essential elements in that. So B, C, and E are correct, which is option number 1 is correct here. All right. Next up, which of the following forces push up the productivity of the employees in an organization? Acha, productivity kaise improve hogi employees ki? Push up. All right. So difficulty of work, if the work is difficult, productivity would not be possible for the employees. All right, because they would take more time to do the more difficult work. Next is fear of working self out of job. Even this is not done. See, if you see both of these options, these are negative in aspect. All right, negative in aspect. So pushing up is not related to them at all. Now moving on to the another one, egoistic drive to accomplish. Yes, if they have that ego in them that I have to finish this task, okay, they have this motivation, they have this kind of drive which affects their ego in that manner, it can actually push up the productivity. So it is true. All right, next is desire for promotion. Obviously, when they have that desire for promotion, that if I do much better in the organization, I'll get promoted to much higher levels. So it is also true. Motive towards doing business, towards doing work. Obviously, when you have that motive in your mind, that I want to perform better, I want to perform good. So he would invest more in doing his or her work, and it would push up the productivity. So C, D, E are correct, which is option number 4 here. Okay. Next one. Acha, now is the arrange the procedure question. Arrange the procedure which is followed for disbursement of export credit in sequence from first to the last. Okay. Now export credit ko kaise disperse kiya jata hai? We have to arrange that procedure in sequence. Now, if you read all the options here, okay, so at first what would be done? First of all, we have to submit the evidence of export case. See, we have done, we are going to export something, or we have done export, so we have to submit that evidence of export here. Next one, what would be the next step? Now the bank would actually try to calculate the amount of packing that of that packing credit to be granted. Now what amount of credit is to be granted to the exporter, then the bank would calculate this. Okay. Acha, next is what the bank would do next. The bank would then release the funds debiting to the packing credit amount and credit it to the exporter's account. Okay, so this is number 3. This comes at number 3. Now what happens next is the exporter then would require it, he would be required to send the goods through approved transport and the forwarding agency. All right, after getting the funds, then only would the exporter be delivering the products or exporting them. So this comes at number 4. Number 5 now, with the left one option, that is the exporter is required to take adequate insurance also before sending the products or before exporting the products. So 3, 2, 4, 5, 1, that is E is number 1, E, B, A, C and D, E, B, A, C and D, which is option number 4 here. Okay, so option number 4 is the correct option. Next one, what is the correct sequence in hierarchy of effects model in a communication situation? All right, so hierarchy of effects model in communication system basically, what is this hierarchy of effects? Hierarchy of effects is actually a model which tells us how advertising influences a consumer's decision to purchase or buy a product or a service. To purchase a product, decision to purchase a product or not to purchase. All right. So this tells us that what is the kind of how advertising influences the customer. So how? So we have to arrange that in correct sequence. So what happens is, sabse pehle, awareness, I guess, about the product and knowledge about the product should be created through advertising, like how it is important for you and all. All right. Next is a liking about the product is created in the minds of the customers. Okay. So what happens next is preference for the product, liking and then preference for the product is being generated here in the minds of the consumers with the help of advertising. All right, next is what they'll do. They would have, after preference, they would have that conviction to purchase. All right, that I have to buy this product because it is very important and necessary. All right, so next one is conviction, and last but not the least is purchasing. So finally what he'll do is he'll go and he'll purchase the product. So C, E, D, A and C, E, A, C, E, A, D and B, which is option number 4th. All right, so this is the correct option. Next one. Which of the following statements regarding price and output determination under monopoly are correct? Okay, now it is talking about the correct correct statements. All right, first is a monopoly firm can fix its prices anywhere along its demand curve. Is it true? No, it's not true, because a monopoly firm actually always is restricted to fix its price at a combination of the price and output combination that lies on a particular combination that lies on demand curve. Obviously it has a downward sloping demand curve. Monopoly has a downward sloping demand curve, and because it is a price setter, the firm itself is a price setter, it cannot it's not like that it can fix its prices anywhere along its demand curve, because for example, it cannot happen that the price is at level P1 but they are selling the quantity as, for example, the price is here but the quantity is sold here. All right, or the price is here but the quantity is sold here. So accordingly, no, the quantity is sold here. So this would not make a proper demand curve. All right, this actually would not lead to a downward sloping demand curve, even if the firm wants it to happen. So this is basically a fact about monopoly. All right, so next is, even during short run, when a monopoly firm earns normal profit, it produces less than its optimum capacity. Yes, it is true about the monopolistic firm. Okay, it's true. Next is, the slope of monopoly's MR curve is twice the slope of its AR curve. Yes, this is also true. Now, the price discrimination is possible only when demand curves are identical in two markets. This is completely wrong, because if the demand curves are completely identical, how can you discriminate the price, or how can you set different prices in the different markets? All right, so for this to happen, for price discrimination to happen, the demands in the two different markets for the similar products must be different. All right, and the demand curves also must vary. So this is incorrect. All right, next is, equilibrium price of a monopolist is always higher than that of a perfectly competitive market. So even this is correct. So B, C and E are correct. That is option number 4 here. All right, option number 4 here. Okay, so the next question. Which one of the following is not the assumption for consumer behavior based on ordinal utility theory? Now, what is ordinal utility theory? Ordinal utility theory talks about that the consumers should, rank their preferences. They cannot just tell the cardinal numbers, maybe I am I am satisfied in terms of 2 or 3 or 4. They can rank, not rank, they can put them in preferences. All right, ranking or ordering, it means ranking or ordering the preferences rather than assigning them numbers of the level of satisfaction here. Okay, so there are various assumptions with relation to ordinal utility theory. Now, what are the various assumptions? Assumptions can be, first of all, there should be that the consumer should be rational. All right, rationality is an assumption. Next is, ordinal utility is given preference here rather than cardinal utility, that is assigning numbers here. All right, consistency of choice should be there. Only then we can, rely upon the preference which the consumer has given on the product. Non-satisfaction or we can say satiety. All right, if this is happening, then only the consumer will try to tell the market here that I prefer this product to be the least because this is not giving much satisfaction to me. All right, last is diminishing marginal rate of satisfaction. Much and much of a product when is consumed, it would start giving less and less of what? Satisfaction. So this is also one of the assumptions. All right, so according to the assumptions, we can mark the option as correct. That is 1, 2 and 3 are correct, not the fourth one. Oh, so sorry, third one is not correct, all the others are correct. This is satiety of demand because assumption is talking about the non-satiety. All right, non-satisfaction of demand. Next question. The share capital of an RRB, regional rural banks, is subscribed. The share capital of an RRB is subscribed by the center government, state government and the sponsoring bank in which one of the following ratios? Okay, so it is talking about this. Now, regional rural banks are basically sponsored by various banks. Okay, so there are center government's role to play here in regional rural banks, obviously the state governments and the sponsoring bank. So about the sponsoring bank, there is this thing that regional rural banks are to be sponsored by certain huge banks which have huge capital. What do? They would subscribe to their share capital. Okay, what the sponsored bank would do is subscribe to the share capital of the RRB. Also, they would train their personals, training of personals. All right. They would also provide managerial and financial assistance to the RRBs for the first 5 years of their opening. All right. So this is their role. Now, in sharing the capitals, what is the ratio? It is a factual thing to be noted here. It is 50, which is for the center government, 15 for the state government, and 35% for the sponsoring bank. All right. So the option number 2 is correct here. Next one. Which one of the following is not the guiding principle of the World Bank regarding its lending operations? All right, easily it can be done by elimination if you have not read about the guiding principles of World Bank, because this is very specific questions. Most of the people do not cover such topics even. So even if you have no clue about it, you can mark the correct option. Look at option number 4th directly. The bank does expect the borrowing country to spend the loan in a particular country. This is not true because ये क्या है, बहुत ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम हो जाती है किसी भी चीज की. अगर आपको कोई अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है इस बारे में, so to understand it on the with the help of extremities, so you can mark this option as correct. Next is कि when the World Bank is giving a country loan, the loan is actually be spent on other countries, in helping other countries also in financing the operations of your personal country which are taking place in another countries. Okay, so here option number 4 is incorrect. So this is the correct option here. All right, when I was talking about extremities, this actually works because when you see something, when you have no idea but you want to कई बार ऐसा होता है ना, you want to do guesswork on some questions to increase your cutoff rate, to increase your cutoff marks, or to reach the cutoff marks basically. So here you can actually do what? जो बहुत extreme वाले options होते हैं, sometimes you can straightforwardly go and think about them and then analyze your answer in that way. ठीक है कि can this be true or not true? It is only for the guessing work. All right. Next is Okay, this is a passage based question. Read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. See, I hope that all of you must have read the passage. So directly we will move forward to attempting the answers here. So the first question is, which of the following measures the RBI can take to consolidate the growth? All right. Now, this answer you would find in the third paragraph, that is, there are measures the RBI can take to increase access to credit by micro, small, and medium enterprises, other than enhancing liquidity in general. Hope that some would find its way to the small sector. So clearly the answer is given here, and the answer is increase access to credit by MSMEs here. Okay. Okay. So the next question, which one of the following is most desirable to consolidate growth? All right. So let us move to the paragraph, and now we see that then the fourth line here, the higher prices will curb the demand and stimulate additional supplies if the prices are allowed to work their way. All right. And also there is this thing, when you understand this paragraph in complete detail, you would obviously get to understand that you have to stimulate the additional supplies in that case. All right, the RBI have to stimulate the additional supplies because it is given here as well. All right, what is given is higher prices will curb the demand and stimulate additional supplies if prices are allowed to work their way through the system instead of being chalked off through demand suppression. All right, this is the thing. And there is one more line in the paragraph where you can actually find it, that the correct answer is the stimulating the additional supplies of the stimulate the additional supplies to consolidate the growth. All right. Next question. Which one of the following statements is not true? Okay, both the center and the state governments should share the tax cuts equally. GDP this fiscal would find it difficult to recover the size attained at the end of 2019 and 20. Curtailment of demand by higher interest rates and choking of supply side price shocks will affect the growth adversely. Here, the statement number 1 is incorrect. Both the center and the state should share the tax cuts equally. All right, how? We can see it here in the second paragraph and the 7th line, that both should share the tax cuts. All right, it is not given that they should do it equally. They should share the tax cut. They should take this action even as they strive to find common ground on bringing energy under the goods and services tax. Okay, so here you can find your answer. Next one, which of the following is the cause of inflation as per the passage? Okay, as per the passage, which one is the cause of inflation? Now here, in the second paragraph, in the 5th line, you can see that the policy response, wait a second, that the policy response appropriate for inflation caused by excess demand would wholly unsuited for inflation caused by supply disruptions and a spike in energy prices. The right way to combat elevated inflation right now is to reduce the burden of taxes that the energy bears. All right, so here what is the correct answer? By understanding the lines in the passage, so the correct answer is supply disruptions here. Okay, next one, given below are the two statements, assertion and reason. All right, abhi we have read these lines now. Of taxes and that energy bears, the taxes, burden of taxes that energy bears. Here only in these lines only you will find your answer for the next question. So the policy response appropriate for inflation caused by excess demand would be wholly suited for inflation caused by a spike in the energy prices. This is not true. Next is the right way to combat elevated inflation right now is to reduce the burden of taxes that energy bears in India. Yes, so this is true. So here option number last, A is not correct, and but R is correct, is the correct option here. All right, so this was the question. Okay.